Your opinion? Well, we are turning to our southern border where border agents apprehended over 174,000 people in the month of December alone. That's more than twice the numbers we saw in November of 2020 under President Trump. Here to talk about what's happening at the Brook, happened on the border, former CBP Commissioner Mark Morgan. Always good to see you, my friend. Vice President Harris was originally tapped to handle the crisis on the border. She clearly said that she had other issues to deal with besides what was happening on the border. We have an administration that refuses to test the people at the border. They won't vaccinate the people at the border. They won't stop the people at the border. Make sense of the nonsense for us, please.
I can't. Look, after 35 years of serving this country, Joe, I've served under 6 administrations, both Republican and Democrat, and this pains me to say this, but because of what's happened with their open border policies and the catastrophic crisis on our southern border, the only thing that makes sense is they see a perceived political benefit from what they're doing. Look, we've seen in the first 12 months of the administration, we're going to look at over 2 million apprehensions. That shatters any 12-month period in our lifetime. This month is the highest monthly total in December. Before that, November was the highest monthly total that we'd seen. A couple of months before that, we had over 200,000. That was the largest monthly total again in our lifetime. Fentanyl seizures, an all-time high that we've ever seen. In a 12-month period in this country, 100,000 drug overdoses, again shattering any previous record. And the drugs are coming from the southwest border. Joe, you and I could go on and on about all the records that have been shattered because of this administration's open border policies. They inherited the most secure border, and they have destroyed it all.
I want to walk through this week, right? Because I often say I don't get to tell you what to believe, but I do get to demand you be consistent, right? I'm looking at a Supreme Court Justice and Sonia Sotomayor who was supported unilaterally by the left, saying that we have an Omicron variant that is more deadly than the Delta variant. It is not. That it is leading to more hospitalizations than the Delta variant. It is not. But if you actually are of that opinion, that is the case, if you have a Chicago teachers union that walks off the job because they think that this Omicron variant is that deadly, that dangerous, how in the world can the same people who support these decisions make the political decision to say we're going to fly people on private airplanes to local airports without testing them, release them into the community without contact tracing, without vaccinating them? How can these policies be conjoined by people who say that there is a virus out there that is so dangerous we should effectively change our entire way of life?
Joe, look, this is why I love coming on your show, brother, because, look, you're absolutely 100% correct. We are not talking about this monumental hypocrisy that's going on. So just for sake of argument, real quick, put the mandates aside, whether you agree with it or not. But if you're going to have a mandate, shouldn't you apply it consistently with common sense throughout? And so, look, you have individuals wanting to fly into our country legally, and they have to be vaccinated and have a test within 24 hours. If you're an American citizen and want to put food on the table and pay your mortgage and go to work, you have to be vaccinated. If I want to go to a restaurant in certain cities, I have to be vaccinated and show a test. Yet you can illegally break into our countries on our southern border, knowing that you've traveled through COVID hotspots. We know that at a minimum of those that are illegally entering, Joe, 25% of them have active COVID. And this administration is not only allowing it, but they're encouraging it. You can break into our country, tell a border patrol agent, hey, I think I have COVID, no problem. You're still going to be released into the interior United States. No testing requirement, no vaccine mandate. And what planet does that make sense while you're pushing all these other mandates as you described?
Absolutely. I mean, it's really crazy. And again, this is before we get to the fact that we have a real crisis happening all across this nation. Again, those Chinese cartels laughing all the way to the bank because they found a new partner in crime, Mexican cartels who are walking record levels of fentanyl across our border, counterfeit prescription drugs that unsuspecting addicts in this nation are taking, and they're dying. You've got teenagers dying. You've got, again, you're talking about the suicide in many ways, somewhat related to the substance abuse. All of these things that are happening all across this country because we simply don't have leadership that understands the unintended consequences of such a pervasive policy on our southern border.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Joe. Once again, I think we've all heard that phrase when we're talking about, it's the economy, stupid, right? Well, I'm going to say the same. It's about border security, stupid, right? Those unintended consequences, exactly what you said. This is not about illegal immigration. This is about border security. But when you open your borders up to one crisis or one threat, like 2 million apprehensions of illegal aliens, you're pulling Border Patrol resources off the front line, off their national security mission. Large areas of the border go unmonitored, unsecured, and unpatrolled. And that's what allows the cartels and the smugglers to do exactly as you described. Criminal aliens are pouring in. Gang members are pouring in. Drugs are pouring in. And our national security vulnerabilities are increasing. But, Joe, you and I have talked about it before. Here's a number most people don't realize. 600,000 gotaways. Because our borders are wide open and Border Patrol agents are pulled away to process 2 million, 600,000 migrants have illegally entered this country in evaded apprehension. That's the same size of the entire state of Vermont. Think about that. 600,000, and they made their way to every town, city, and state. It's unconscionable.
Absolutely. It's more people that live in public housing here in New York City, by the way, by about 100,000. And again, you can't tell people you want a vaccination response for the globe and then ignore the 2 million citizens of the world knocking on your back door and say, we're not going to vaccinate them. Mark Morgan, as always, it's a pleasure, my friend. God bless. We'll talk soon.